for Jada, there's been this pressure by a history that's a very ugly history about the film industry saying, well, this is how we're going to do your hair for a film. We're not going to work with what you have. We're not going to go with anything that represents your community. We're going to represent your hairstyle in a way that is more European. And as an actor, they're not necessarily given a choice about how they're going to look because it's a director's vision and it's maybe the hairstylist, all the creatives that are brought onto the project. You kind of have the power over the person to say, no, this is how they're going to look, no matter how it makes them feel. Now, there are some directors that will go, okay, if this person just feels so uncomfortable in their own skin in this character, and there's something unfair going on here, maybe we need to take that into consideration and rethink the visual that's going on. Is there, what am I trying to achieve as a director in this look? Does this person have to look this way for the purpose of the character? If it's I'm trying to show a period of time where that's what would be done and that's part of the story, then it makes sense. But if it's not part of it, then it's like, okay, there's 10 million ways to do this person's hair, and they don't have to be a way that is different than what would make them comfortable and what's already growing out of their own head. Like I said, I prefer to work with my curly hair. It does not always want to cooperate, and so that's why I have to kind of go with what it wants to do and then position it just like as best I can. And you know what? It still looks better than when I try to straighten it. So there's a lot of pressure for a woman, let alone a woman on TV or in the movies. It's a whole lot there. And now, after all that pressure, and only recently are Black women allowed to embrace their hair and the styles that they want to have and be seen with, now her hair starts falling out. So if you look at this from a psychological point of view, that's a lot. That is a lot. And she's trying to be very strong about it, which is good. It's better when you have an illness to decide to be the boss of the illness and not let the illness be the boss of you. And so she's trying to do that. Okay, good. So now we know the complexities of what Jada is potentially going through when it comes to her hair. And to go to an awards show where you are on display and you have to shave your head, you have to get used to the fact that you have to shave your head. Not because you just wanted to, but you had to, because clumps and clumps were falling out in the shower. And she said she didn't want to look like someone who had just had brain surgery. So she decided to use it to her advantage and stylize herself and go, you know what? I'm not going to let you get me down. So this is what I'm going to do. So she's already vulnerable when she goes there. Now, Will Smith, Chris Rock, everybody's got their issues. And I don't mean everybody as in those three. I mean everybody on the entire earth has some issues. They've had stuff that's happened in their life that shapes who they are, what they do, how they respond to things. So Will Smith, this is a big night for him. This is the first Oscar that he's up for. Well, he's been nominated before, I believe. But this is the first Oscar that he's likely to win. And he has a whole lot of other stuff that's gone on, that's in the media. And those red table talks with him cannot exactly be helping his sense of self and his sense of masculinity. I mean, he's really been, I would say, very brave about having a public conversation with his wife about that he was not making her feel satisfied, and that's why she wanted an open marriage. And he has to sit there and be dignified and not show how it made him feel. Like, what position is he in? Because If at that moment he was going to act like you could if you were in a private therapy session and go, when you did that, do you understand how that made me feel? There's a whole lot of pressure there. The world is watching you and judging you. So he knows that he has it on his back to represent how a husband should be listening and responding when his wife is saying, hey, there was this problem and it ended up leading to this issue in our marriage. That, I mean, how emasculating is that? But he doesn't want to be the guy that tries to say his feelings to his wife about how this made him feel and come off as victim blaming. He doesn't want to come off as being hostile towards her, especially as a Black man. Again, there's a long history where society makes all of us feel, incorrectly so, that Black men are angry and they're violent and they're not good husbands and blah 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 and all that garbage. And a lot of that, I will tell you, it comes from, I hate to say it because there's going to be people out there that are going to go, oh, everything doesn't go back to slavery. Well, you know what? It didn't not affect things. How does it not affect things? Your family history, whatever your family went through, gets passed down. If your father used to beat your mother, you're going to get affected by that. And your kids are going to get affected by how you were affected by it. If you were beaten by your parents, you're like, it's, these things are passed down. They just are. Do they get more diluted as time goes on? Hopefully. It depends on how you're dealing with your issues.